Hi Year 2. I thought today I'm going to share you our story for our literacy this week. So our story is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So you might think, oh, I recognise that story, The Three Little Pigs, but this one I think is going to be a little bit different. So what you can do is, if you're not sure of the story of the Three Little Pigs, I've put a link to one on our home learning, so you can have a little look on there and remind yourself of what happens in that story. Right. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves are cute little animals, like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I'd run out of sugar. So, I went next door to ask if I could borrow a cup of sugar. Now, the guy next door was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked the door, I fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into somebody else's house, so I called, "Little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And do you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straws was the first little pig, dead as a door now. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went on to the next house. The guy who lived there was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He'd built his house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like the brothers. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a door now, wolf's honour. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little bit better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first guy and the second guy's little brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, wolf! Don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Achoo! Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old Granny can sit on a pin." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my Granny like that, I go a little bit crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. Oh, and there's a newspaper article here with the title, "The Big Bad Wolf." The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. So that was our story of the Three Little Pigs, the true story. And actually in there, it was very different to the story that I know, because he wasn't such a big bad wolf in this story. So do you think he deserved to go to prison? Well, what I thought we could do is, in your literacy pack today, I've asked you to do a sheet which says the same and different. So I thought you could have a little go at writing down all the things that you think are the same between this story and the story of the Three Little Pigs, and anything that you spotted that was a little bit different in the wolf's side of the story. So I had a little think. I could think of one already for the same. So I was thinking, actually, all the characters are the same. There's still the Three Little Pigs. There's still the big bad wolf. And I had a little thought about for different. And I was thinking that, there's quite a few differences. One of them is that the wolf actually ate some of the little pigs in this story, in his story, which I don't think he did in the Three Little Pigs story that I know. So you could put that one on different and see how many you can come up with for the same and different.